Vocab just saw Bumblebee, and he started telling me about it. He started telling me about it when we're getting on Skype and stuff. And I told him just save it for the live stream, because this movie doesn't even come out. This movie doesn't even come out for 2 weeks. I couldn't even find any reviews on it, which means that reviewers haven't even seen it yet, or if they have seen it, they're sworn to silence and secrecy. So, how did you come by this Bumblebee movie and cup?
Well, the producers approached me and said, "Hey, we heard you have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Would you like some free early tickets?"
Wait, who did this?
No, I'm just totally BSing. That's not
Michael Bay.
Yeah, Michael Bay. Yeah,
John Cena was hanging out.
Nah, but what happened is, Instagram reads your mind, and so I get these advertisements that pop up, and they're like, "See the Bumblebee movie early. All you got to do is," and I'm like, "What?" Like, they're doing this again, I guess, now, like these early release things for like super fans, and you can get in. It doesn't seem to cost anymore, from what I can gather. And you could go as long as there's seats, and if you're in a big city, you can find them. So it was actually kind of simple, and it was awesome. We had to drive to a pretty far away theater to do it, 35 minutes. But my kids were shocked because they're like, "How's it? How it doesn't come out yet?" So it was fun though. It was a lot of fun. So it didn't have anything to do with my clout, but check it out. They nailed the 80s aspect of it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The soundtrack. So I'm not going to give any spoilers away, by the way. But the soundtrack alone, they're throwing in, the Smiths, and they got the famous Breakfast Club ending. That's a prominent part of the movie.
The Breakfast Club ending? What do you mean, when Bender walks out and holds his hand up? Yeah.
That's a prominent part of the movie.
Don't you forget about me.
Don't. Oh, man. No, they killed it. They killed it with that. And it wasn't making fun of the 80s. They just incorporated it perfectly. It's set in 1987. And so there's cassette tapes and everything else. So that's a major thing. I think that's a sort of a fan service. And they did have some throwback elements to what's called G1. If you're a big nerd, you know the G1 means Generation 1 of Transformers. They didn't only stay there, even though it was in the 80s, but nonetheless, they gave much proper nods, especially the prologue and the epilogue to the movie. That's kind of the key places. So this is a movie, you cannot get there late. The beginning of the movie totally establishes its credibility as a legitimate G1 fan service Transformers movie, and is some of the coolest action you could imagine. My kids are still freaking out about one little sequence that was less than 5 seconds long. They just are talking about this one little part that's in the beginning of the movie where Soundwave character. Yeah,
Soundwave was my favorite Transformer of all time. You know why? On the original series, he was like completely loyal to Megatron. Well, like Starscream's always trying to betray him, but Soundwave, as you command, Megatron. He was always like that. I always thought that was cool. And plus, the way it works. He just rolled in as his own separate army.
Totally. I'm kind of like your Soundwave, and John McCrae. He's more like Starscream. He's more like your Starscream.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm Megatron.
but nah, man. There is a fight between Starscream and Bumblebee. Oh, it's great. It is great.
What is it? Is it just Bumblebee and a bunch of bad guys?
No. So I'm telling you parts that I particularly like, but my complaint about the movie would be, and I'm not a big action movie guy in the sense that everything needs to be nonstop action. I'm not into that. Like, I need a story. I need good dialogue. I need the movie to be intelligent. Pure action is usually not able to express the intelligence that I do care about in a movie. However, I'm telling you about these certain parts because I love them, but the movie moves pretty slow at points. Now, that's a good contrast to the Bay movies, which were not comfortable to ever sit still and to have intelligent dialogue.
So this is not Michael Bay?
No, it's a different guy.
Good.
Travis Knight, I think. He gets it, though. And in fact, the design, they totally went retro on it. So a car panel.
Michael Bay reminds me of Zack Snyder in the sense that they can think if you just throw a massive budget and tons of CGI, screw the writers, screw having good writers writing a good story. And I'm always thinking, gosh, if you're spending $150, $200 million on a movie, spend an extra $500,000 on an awesome writer who can write an awesome story with some awesome dialogue, and then throw all your CGI stuff in there, right? And then,
Yeah,
but
like,
it's like they're saying, hey, all we have to do is kick $150 million into this, and we're going to make $500 million profit, and it doesn't matter what we do because the CGI people are going to show up for. Screw the story, and well.
Oh, Matthew Scarborough's making an interesting thing. He's saying it might have been Blitzwing, not Starscream. So for those who know, Blitzwing is also a Decepticon jet, but he transforms into a jet as well as a tank. Thundercracker's not in it. If it was Blitzwing, which I think you're right because I heard someone mention him, this Blitzwing that they have looks just like Starscream. If it is Blitzwing, I don't know, but they do have what Blitzwing is either way, a triple changer. So in the original Transformers of G1, there's robots who could have 3 modes, 2 vehicle forms and a robot mode. This movie has triple changers. Oh. So they look freaking awesome when they go from hot rods to helicopters, and then hot rods into airplanes, and then back to robots, which is a real thing from G1, Generation 1 Transformers. So I was all about that as well.
Okay. It's easy to get just so everyone knows, it's easy to get the jets. The G1 Transformers, sometimes they would use the exact same Transformer toy and just paint it differently.
Yep,
and it would be a different character.
Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna give any
spoilers. People are complaining. Stop spoiling the movie. No one's spoiling the movie. I haven't seen the movie. How am I going to spoil the movie?
I haven't given any spoilers, though. I don't think in any way. There's no.
You mentioned that there's a scene with Soundwave. So if that's too much for you, then don't listen to Vocab.
Trailer. That's in the trailer. So you could have seen all of this in the trailer. All the stuff I'm saying. It's basically a coming of age story. It's sort of a girl and her dog who becomes her best friend type story. It's that kind of thing. So it gets slow at points. It gets sappy at points. But I could tell because I was mainly surrounded by like a lot of kind of millennials were there, actually. I could tell they were totally into it. So the movie doesn't disappoint the old school fans, but the millennials were like with it. I could tell 100% they were like feeling it because it hit their sensibility. So I think it's going to do really well. Is it perfect? I mentioned the dialogue. I'm just saying it's not as bad as Michael Bay's stuff. It's not like some perfect, flawless. Like, the movie really is not that deep. Like, I like to do the philosophical analysis on movies. This movie, it would be a strain to do a whole lot of philosophical analysis because it's not much present there. You'd have to focus kind of on some issues with family. That's a key thing. You have to focus on things like that, but it doesn't have a massive amount of that. So that's not what it's about, but it's definitely a feel good overall. There's a little bit of language, but the sexualization of women is almost absent from the movie. Like, which is nice, again, comparing to Michael Bay, who over-sexualized almost every woman in any way that was there. That doesn't really happen.
Even Megan Fox?
Well, you remember the Michael Bay movies, close-ups on lips and all this slow-motion running with low-hanging shirts. It was just out of control.
No, it was all like, hey, there is no way this Victoria's Secret model is this special scientist in your secret laboratory here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, these, this movie is a pretty good family movie, and it's a movie that I don't think will disappoint newer or older. Again, it's not perfect. It's not very deep. It's definitely not a very in-depth movie, but I don't see how almost anyone could go to the movie and not have fun and not enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Like, I see people who don't even like Transformers that much liking it because they make Bumblebee so much like the perfect pet dog of all time. Like, so expressive and he's so cute, that kind of thing. But man, he's dope because he's riding around in his little VW and they do these crazy car chases, but it's this little VW and it's just cool. It's cool when he goes into fight mode too. Like, the action is well done. I mean, you can actually tell what's going on. And
that's a shocker.
Yeah, because again, very different than the Bay movies, right? So this is a much smaller movie. Like, it really focuses on the relationship with this girl and Bumblebee, which is fine. She's a relatively likable character. Like, she seems legit in it. You know what I'm saying? She's not she seems legit. You know, kind of a tomboy, but not out of control with it. It's legit. I give it 2 thumbs up, no doubt. And I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with it. I encourage people to see it when it does drop. I think you're going to see a lot of positive reviews about it.
Yeah, I'm going to wait on the reviews. I don't entirely trust your judgment on Transformers movies, because I watched the first one and I was done, and that was apparently the best one compared to the others. So if you're like, I can't wait to see Bumblebee, I'm like, yeah, all right. Let me get a second, third, fourth, and fifth opinion on this one.
But I never gave those other movies positive reviews, so what do you mean?
You know you watched them.
Of course I watched them. They're Transformers. I don't have a choice to watch.
Vocab's like, Dark Side of the Moon is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life.
I know why you liked it, because it's similar to a Pink Floyd
I like
album.
the Pink. Yeah, they're biting off of Pink Floyd there, trying to get some people to watch it. All right, Niall said, "Hey, David and Vocab, doesn't the Kaaba look like a transformer in disguise?" That would be. How would that be in a Transformer movie, right?
The cube. He's talking about the big black cube that gives them their.
Yeah.
That's actually funny. That would be an interesting skit to have the Kaaba.
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking, how cool would that be, like in an actual Transformers movie? You know, Bumblebee's over there, and then the Kaaba transforms and starts blasting people. Right? He's been absorbing evil for all these centuries. Hey! By the way, for everyone who thinks that was mean, according to Islam, the black stone was originally white, but it absorbs people's sins, and so much of it that it's now black, and so there is some of that going on. But imagine that the black stone is like this power absorber.
It's the
it absorbs sin to make like this evil Decepticon matrix of leadership, and then like that powers the Kaaba. Anyway.